Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this award-winning show. Yes, I awarded our own award to us, but that doesn't matter. I can say we are award-winning. Anyway, it's December 31st, 2024, the last day in the year. Pedro and I have been giving you hot alpha, great technical Tuesday stuff, meme coin Monday stuff, all kinds of great interviews all year. We're so happy to have made it to the end of the year here, and without so many technical difficulties. Where's Jeff Ledger when you need him? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a good show for you today. It's Technical Tuesday. We're going to talk BTC, XRP, XLM, SUI. Oh, you name it, we'll hit it in some form or another. I just realized that I'm streaming myself over in the corner over here, but that's not the point. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host Pedro Garcia is in the house. What's happening, Pedro?
Hey, how you doing, brother? How's your day?
Good, man. Good, Pedro. You got you're grooving to the red lights there. Is that the 70s disco thing, or are you doing a little muscle improvement?
A little muscle improvement with a little red light therapy there going on. I had to push, and my back was, as all of you have known, since the beginning of the year, and when did we go to?
August?
It's in August, yeah. So August, I really made a point to really start to lose weight, gain muscle, and unfortunately, it's a give and take. It's hard to do both, and so
you got that right. Because gaining muscle, you gain more weight.
Yes, well,
but that's a good way.
Lose fat, though. Lose fat, gain muscle. Lose fat, and it's very hard to do both at the same time. So, and I've done, I've worked out my whole entire life. So, me being a workout guy, I think for about 10 years I stopped, or about 8 years I stopped. So, it has restructured my body, and so I'm trying to get back.
Zach Krupp in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Zach says consistency is the king.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It is. Ignacio Libre, Happy New Year. 2 new viewers here right off the bat. That's a good way to start what's going on.
All right. We got some good new guys here, too. What's up? And we got some
Scully, is this going to happen? This is going to happen. Hopefully it is working over on Rumble. Let's check that out.
Mm-hmm. Some good stuff over here. Rumble. It's not.
Well, yesterday YouTube failed us. Today Rumble has failed us.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
Don't know.
What's up, Zach? Working. It's good to see you, man. What's up, Mr. Crump? Like the old. You probably have gotten that so many times. and Libre, Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre?
¿Qué pasa, señor? Alpha Wolf's in the house. Happy New Year's Eve to you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you over on the Breakfast Club. Guys, Zach, Ignacio, ¿qué pasa? Tell us where you found us. Where was it that you guys saw us and said, hey, these guys look like a bunch of morose mother.
Zach is from the Dream Team.
Oh,
the Dream Team. I did not. I don't think I have the ability to post the show schedule in Dream. So I skip it. It is it's in my list because AI Alpha Wolf put it in my list of things to post on. But I think I'm not banned. I just think the permissions are restricted for that. Pedro, I'll give you a second here to fix this Rumble broadcast.
All right.
Ka-ching in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Ka-ching.
Absolutely. While he is doing it, guys, if you could just do us a huge favor, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. That would help us out tremendously. We're always trying to give you guys alpha, talk about real situations, global news, situations that are going around the world. And additionally to that, when we do that, it does affect the algorithm because we talk about sometimes taboo situations or newsworthy events that need to be talked about, but because that may not be really mainstream narrative that we're talking about, we do get delisted on the algorithm. So you hit
We'll just call it derated. So like and share.
Yep.
Pedro, I had the Rumble. I had done the show last night, prepared it, and Rumble updated the streaming things. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us from Rumble right now, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. We're appreciative of Chris over at Rumble for creating this great platform, and we are very happy with the viewership that's been going on there. So all you new people that are tuning in right now from Rumble, whether you're on the live now or on the replay later, thank you very much. Pedro, earlier today we had an episode of the Crypto Swamp Creatures out, and I premiered it on YouTube, but I also shadow premiered it on Rumble. And I reached out to on Truth Social, reached out to Chris, the CEO.
Oh yes,
who I cannot pronounce his last name. And to the Rumble crew in general, said, hey, we're a young and growing show, and we'd like some love from the Rumble crew. Let's get together and talk. So if everybody that is a viewer here that's on Truth Social or on Rumble, if you could go and find our tweet under DYOR Media, do your thing, share it, like it, love it. I'll put a link to that in the chat here in a little bit. So for those of you on Rumble or on Truth Social, you guys can go do your thing. But anyway, Pedro, what actually is today?
Today is the end of the year, and it is a trading day, and so it is going to be, I think, a really unique day. I've talked about this now for a while, right? Whereas I didn't want to bring this up at the Breakfast Club.
Hold on, Pedro. I led you into this, and because some Tuesdays I fail at this.
Okay.
This Tuesday you failed.
Oh, we did.
You know why,
You're
ladies
right.
and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's Technical Tuesday.
That's awesome. Good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Technical Tuesday. That was supposed to transition right into Pedro and I's dual screen here, but my system's doing that slow thing again.
Awesome.
No matter how many times I press the button, it's just not going to do it. So
yes,
it'll happen here eventually.
I actually realized I got to go grab something. Please take over, and I will be back in just a second. So sorry.
I can do that.
Thank you. Sorry.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's Technical Tuesday here on the great DYOR Media Network. Let me get some decent music on. Thanks to everyone joining us. For everyone on, you guys over on Rumble getting us? Yes, you are. I hope so. Let's see about that. Who else is in the house? Jason Spurgis in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Jason's the better half of the Spurgis clan because he's here. Jeff Ledger in the house. Jeff, good morning, afternoon, guys. Good luck with the TDs today. Thanks for showing up in the space yesterday, Pedro. Tom, I sent Brian's info on X. He will answer all your questions about Podchain. I'd like to have him on the show. Ka-ching is grooving on this Technical Tuesday. Chris Magard, what's going on? DYOR Doge BSC in the house. Go ahead. Everyone needs to go check out Doge BSC. Ignacio Libre says, I'm on the dream team, showing alpha love. Thank you very much. Tom Oliver from Infineon. Happy New Year to Boris Johnson, otherwise known as Tom Oliver. And Alpha Wolf says, Happy New Year's Eve, Space Cat. Happy New Year's Eve to all of our viewers in Australia. It's already January 1st there. You're already hungover and sleeping in over there. It must be nice living in the future. Zach says, hey, Wolf, as I said, he works hard and pushes you everywhere. He does. And so we like to talk about the projects that he brings to us. So that's how that works. Zach says he's a master network. That's correct. Scully, thanks for... Not Scully. Scully. Saduli. Sorry, not getting that right. Of course, caught you guys the other day. Liked the show. Thanks for joining us again. Really, really, really appreciate it. Oh, you guys are going crazy on the comments here. Zach says 100%, 100%, 100%. I got to get to these. Chuck Jansen in the house. What's up, good peoples? He says. Thanks you very much. Let's bring the audio back up here a little bit. Ching says, hey, Chuck. I love it when the crowd talks to each other. It means we're forming a community, moving, grooving. Today I was listening, or not today, yesterday I was listening to Crypto Lifer, and he's up to 80,000 people on his podcast or on his daily show. 80,000 subscribers, about 1,000 to 2,000, sometimes 3,000 people a day on his podcast. And someone popped up from the one of the original 10 viewers that he had, and he goes, "Oh my God, such and such from 10." I started watching him when he was under 300, and I had him on this show, Crypto Lifer on this show, when he only had like 1,000 viewers, 2,000, something like that. Now he's got 80,000. Mr. ROI. Happy New Year's in advance, guys. Now I like that name. He gets right to the point. Mr. Return on Investment. And of course, Jason Spurgis says, Fire Chicken is a good project to check out. Yeah, Alpha Wolf comes right out and says, I support the ones that support each other. That's what we do. We scratch your back, you scratch ours. You guys bring viewers to our show. Talk about your projects. Pretty simple. Got to give the viewers what they want. The viewers are all here to learn about Fire Chicken or Dream or Oweebo or Stag or whatever, but we talk about the Hyperliquid. Hey, yeah, and Gino, GameStop bets.
The New Year's. So I'm going to give us, again, yesterday I gave us some big large meta movements.
Hey, straighten your camera a little, Pedro, so you're centered in the picture there.
Okay. Boom. Is that better?
Yeah, I just cut your head off a little bit, but you move around a lot.
I do. I move around. I'm a mover. That ADD, ADHD is my secret power.
For the new year, Pedro, there we go. We're going to get Pedro an actual webcam that sits in the same spot every day.
No.
And when its phone rings, it doesn't it doesn't cut out.
Yeah. The key is consistency. That's
just
the
like
key.
Zach says.
Yep. If you want to get your yokes on, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to show off my yokes. Take it wrong way. Boom. There you go. See?
Hold on. Let me
look at that right there. I got that nice little
squeeze it just right.
Yep. Yeah. You see that? It's coming back in. Whoop whoop. Getting the chest, getting the mesh chesticles moving. Oh yeah. Can you feel it? Consistency, baby. As
pretty soon we getting those steroid pimples all over your face. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. It was, mind you, when I was in high school, because I used to get very just muscular, just get always good muscle easy. I got yoked up, and my wrestling coach was like, "Are you doing steroids?" And I said, "No." I go, "I eat a lot of cheese, but I do not." Later came to find out because cheese has so much protein in it, right, and everything that correlates with it. You know, and at the time, I grew up in Central Valley, Modesto, California, where there's cows and so much stuff out there. You know, there's a lot of free cheese. Because I was a foster kid. Long story short, the foster care family could get these blocks of cheese that were like this big, like and I get 3 or 4 of them every single month. Or we'd go to like this place, and so I used to go, bro, cut off like chunks of cheese like that big, bro. As a kid, and I was constantly working out. So, anyways, long story short, I got really buff, and they thought I was doing steroids, and I was like, no, man, I'm just eating cheese. That's it. I don't know. Oh, snaps. Thank you, Mr. Fire Chicken. $2 rant. $2 for the gun show, Pedro. Go, Pedro. Wait, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Wow. Why am I not seeing that?
Oh, that's over at Rumble. That's a Rumble.
I know, I should still be seeing it in the thing here.
Oh, I see. Well.
Oh, there it goes. Just a little bit late. Ladies and gentlemen, $2 for the gun show. Thank you to Fire Chicken. Thank you to the Fire Chicken people for donating all of your liquidity to our show. We really appreciate it. As I always like to say, everything that's donated here helps Pedro and I bring you guys a better show. And hopefully it pumps up the edutainment.
Pumps up the edutainment. So many of you guys, you know me, I always say this. If it goes up first, what must it do?
Gotta come down.
It gotta come down. If it goes down first, what will most likely it do?
Go up.
Go up. So one of the ways we're able to see that, right, is through the wicks. Through the wicks. And so if we don't see wicks on the up, when I mean wicks, I mean bottom wicks, the buyer wicks, right? We see it. If we don't see that as we're moving up, to me, it is communicating that it wants to come down. So as it pumps up, we see it come down. It's funny. I was going to tell Zach over at the fire, over at the, but I was like, I don't want to be. It's the end of the year. Everybody's pumped for this next year coming up. So I was like, yeah, man. I got a love-hate relationship going on with Bitcoin right now. But good thing about it is it went up with no wicks, as you can see, no bottom wicks, the demand wicks, which means that it is defending against the sellers. So as it comes down, right, I've talked about this multiple times, you have seller pressure coming in. And then what happens is the buyers come in and push up and defend that area. So when price comes back to that area where the wick was at, right, because you have a red body of the candle, and then it comes up and it turns green, and you have a small little wick. That's a defense against the sellers. So when that happens, they're going to defend that area like a war, right? The war of buyers and sellers. And so you can see as we're coming up, we would see it come down. But in the same sense, if it's selling off and you see a bunch of red candles and you don't see a lot of seller wicks, okay? Which means it's the wick on top, which means buyers are stepping in, pushing the market up. And then all of a sudden the sellers step in and then push the market down. And as the sellers push the market down, it creates a wick. And that wick then allows us to say, when price comes back into that wick, they're going to defend that area. And then what we'll see is a drop from that. And so we don't see a lot of wicks here in the up and down, okay? So we saw a wick up here where we hit the 50 period moving average. On Zach's show today, I talked that we're coming up to the 50 period moving average, and it's probably going to act as resistance to us with the 8 period moving average. Okay, this is huge because this typically will act as a junction point, much like when you look at freeways and you see freeways going backwards and forwards, right? And then if you go to like Houston, right, they have that huge junction point in Houston where it's like as you move up, you can see it, right? You can go this way, you can go that way, you can go this, you can go any direction. So you can see here that I look at when I see a conglomeration of moving averages that are in a steep position, what will happen is we will see a turnaround from that area. And that's exactly what we saw here. We came in this morning, pushed up, and then we saw it go down. So this is what we're seeing. As we're going down on the smaller time frames, we're not seeing a lot of seller wicks. So that's a good sign. The thing is, are they going to push it down to the lows here? They may come back down to the 91s, right? But as they're doing it, they're going to notify that it's going to turn around when they start breaking that the 8 on the 5-15 minute. As they break the 8s, right now you can see that 8 is trending here. So we can sit there and go, okay, we're going to be long until we break these 15 and 20 minute 8s. And then we're going to sit there and say, all right, are we finding volume coming in? And from volume, are we seeing it hold with demand wicks, right? That's the buyer wicks. That's sellers coming in. And then you see it pushing back up where you have buyer wicks, where you have real buyers coming in into the market, and they're looking to defend that area, okay? And we want to see that with volume. But as you can see here right now, we definitely have more seller volume than buyer volume all the way into this area here, right? You can see it as we were pushing up, no seller wicks, and we had stronger seller volume. So that was it communicating that it was going to turn around here. Alrighty, so that's Bitcoin kind of in the near term for the day, maybe 2 days, okay, what we're seeing here. And then let's talk about Bitcoin at large, what I expect for the large ticket movements, okay? We're going to go to the 12-month because it's the end of the year. We're going to check out BTC for the end of the year, see what's going on, and see how we can maybe potentially predict what we could see. Now, I did it real quick yesterday with BTC, where I said I think we could get to that 250, 300,000. And what I'm doing is I'm using previous models of last bull runs that let me know that how much I could predict a movement out of this. Now, I could very much go much further, and it could pull, but it ranges. If anybody is a chartist will know that past price movements is pretty much indicative of that you can see which way it wants to move, right? From previous candles. I'm sorry, this hair is like bothering me. I'm not ready to pull it up. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, any concerns. We're gonna go look at some stuff here real quick when it comes to the.
Well, Pedro, what were you saying? You're given the 12 month view of that.
So the 12th, yep. So the 12-month view. Thank you for the ADDness. So 12-month view I see on our good old friend BTC is I'm seeing a 250, and we did this yesterday, but I'll do it real quick again. So I'm gonna take the movement right from the previous, because every bull run we saw the previous year, and then so here's the bull run of the bear run, the bull run of 2017, the bear run of 2018, consolidation, and then the year before, and then the big push. Okay, so this year is this year, and this right here is this, and then we saw this right here where we saw the bull run. So I'm now taking, you can go back and check this out on a lot. You can go back 100 of these and look at the previous years, and you can go back. When I say go back and check out 100, I mean 100 cryptocurrencies. And so this is what I'm looking at. You can see here the pattern, boom, boom, boom. So this is where I'm getting my numbers and what I'm looking at, okay? So I'm taking the bottom of this previous candle and the top of where we're at right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to place this for the next year candle, okay? And we saw that it was typically double of whatever we saw this candle is. This candle is actually double of this. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to double it up, and we're going to see get to here. So that is a 250 to 300,000. My price point is 300,000 this next bull run as we see, okay? Again, this is important. It's not going to go straight there. It's going to ups and downs, twists and twirlies, and you're going to have scandals, and you're going to have, oh my goodness, blah, 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 and whatever it be, right? These are ways that they're going to use to bring the market down first to bring in the sellers so the institutions can come in with buys, because for every buy you need a sell, and for every sell you need a buy. And so there needs to be a meeting that correlates to push markets up. In a bull market, you have to have bid ask, okay? And this causes, whereas in a bear market you see ask bid, or ask bid, and it goes down. So right now we're in the we're in the bid ask, where it's pushing the market up. So you need a meeting. And so for them to go into this market and push it up, okay, most likely we need to see a drop at the beginning of the year. First drop, then push, right? And I talked about at the end of this year, we've seen it push up to that 108. I thought we were going to get to the 110, potentially 120. I was really hoping for the 110, 120. It petered out. So, but this little candle, now I'm going to point this out because you really can't see it. And I don't pay for the TradingView software, so I can't just remove but see from the top here to the bottom, this is a wick. This is them going through, taking profits and getting ready for them. And this is a good thing. This actually is a really good thing. We're seeing them take profits, right? Institutional. And what they do is they'll come through, they deploy them profits to first drop it at the beginning of the year to really rally it. Okay. And so I think potentially the first part of July, we're going to see most likely a drop, right? I hope I'm wrong. And I hope they just come out like gangbusters and just shove it to the point to the moon, right? But most likely not. So that's what I'm expecting to see here is a little bit of a drop and the push back up. Unanimously across all communities and channels, followers and spaces, listen to a co-host. The feedback is clear. Is right.
Pedro, I was just queuing those up for various things.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I have to be honest. All right, so let's go ahead. I thought somebody was asking questions. So I'm setting this up so that...
Space Cat, I got you on that. It's taken me a long time to understand Pedro's charts. It's a long time. You have to understand everything he just said for those lines and be paying attention. But once you do, you can read it. Like I know what all these green lines here mean now, red lines.
It's not
when
hard.
You don't. No, it's
really
not.
Hard?
You just have to pay attention a lot and understand it. Yeah, see, when you zoom out like that, it makes it easier to read that those green lines are his points of where he sees it coming down to. Or it could reverse there. It could go through that. All types of things. Liquidity is there.
Yeah, so these lines are where liquidity is sitting. Okay, where there are buyers sitting to jump into the market and push it up. Right? You remember this play right here? And you have in every time frame you see I have up here, you have a liquidity where buyers and sellers are sitting on every time frame. And they switch back and forth constantly. So you need to be able to understand that. And as the market starts to move in conjunction with it, we can take advantage of these areas for movements. So we could be shorting, i.e., you see this gray line right here? Remember when the gray line was right here? Remember? And I said, guys, when it comes down, it was right here. It was about right here. And we said, when price comes back down into this area, we want to sit there. And this was a play we played off of this where we went long. And Tom made some good money on December 24th. And then you went short. True. And then you went short up in this area, and it did well. So I actually had the short area down in this level here. And then I was like, they'll probably go into the day where we actually see the daily 8 and the 20 crossing here. And so many of you guys were here, as I said, expect the market to come down first for a sell-off. So we got the timer that went to 0.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stand by here. We're going to do our first commercial break of the show. We'll be right back.
little here, you can see that we're starting to put a little top in. And how far will we go? A lot of people are sitting there saying we could see it go up a little bit more to about 7,000. Okay. And then see a sell-off to about 6,000, potentially 5,000. If we have some major negative news, right, we could see another fallout. A lot of people are also saying
everybody, sorry,
that
no
the
volume
Democrats
thing.
are finally
Came
out there
back from the
saying,
commercial
giving us
and
real
turned back.
numbers, which is dope. I always, say the real numbers. The real numbers are important. And in doing that, what happens is it potentially could cause a market fall to where we have these liquidity points. And so if we do see the market fall here, we've got a couple cool things we can look at. One being the 100-day period moving average, which is sitting at about 58.31 right now ish. That's 58.25 on the ES mini futures, okay, which would be around the same place with the spot market, right? And all I'm doing is lining up lines here, okay? And so I also have a nice little area right here at that 57.51 area we could potentially come down to. Then we have the 200-day period moving average. If we really start to see things fall here, we're definitely going to see a bounce off of it, which is sitting at a 55.87 area. Okay, if we come down there, and then if we squeeze down just a little bit more here, we'll be able to sit there and see it bouncing around that 55.45 area. And then we could take, and at that point, I think we could take advantage of a pretty big bounce, probably 1,000, 1,500 point jump. Where it probably retest the 100 period moving average. And then from there, it's kind of an open game. Now, so that's it coming down. And you're like, well, Pedro, why do you think it should be coming down? Because of the market itself. Now, if you look at it, you can see here, we've had a high, a lower high, then, what happened there? Lower high right here, then a low, and I think we're going to have another lower low here at the 100-day period moving average. From there, we'll probably see it come back up, and I just went over that a little. But what I'm doing is just simply lining up lines here so that I have a confluence of traders, and typically everybody kind of meets, and then they're able to take advantage of that.
The dying cats are calling. That means Pedro is being summoned to the telephone.
Yeah, so I'm here right now. So that's in a nutshell. So that's the ES here. Now let's check out some bonds and the Japanese yen. Bonds, Japanese yen, and
Pedro, make sure you preface that by telling why you're looking at the bonds and the yen.
Bonds. So there's a thing called the carry trade. And what it is real simple, is that the bankers in America and a lot of places around the world have, in the past 15 years, and it's happened also in previous times, but in particular 15 years, they will go to an area in the world called Japan, and they will take loans out. Those loans are basically a lot less interest versus, let's say, here in America, other places. And what they'll do is, with those loans, which they now have money with that loan, and they will deploy it around the world to make income. Or if they're just being smart, right, they'll take a loan from Japan, and then they'll put it into our treasuries, which are paying, let's say, a higher interest rate, and then they make more money, okay? And they pay back the loan while at the same time have a safe, an easy way to make cash. Now, this past year, we saw Japan say, you know what, we're going to raise our rates now because we need to make some money, because we're going through some really hard times. So we're going to go through, and we really want to see some production here in China, or excuse me, not China, in Japan. China's a mess too. So, I mean, they're falling apart, and then we're falling apart because our car situation. Anyways, sorry. But we're jumping back.
I got to stop you, Pedro. $5 to the mute button. Oh, yeah. Maybe it'll behave better. Thank you, Kaching, for helping us through our technical difficulties. Pedro, you probably don't know this, but right when you came back from commercial, I forgot to turn both our mics on. So the ending, you talked about what Bitcoin was going to do for the 12 years. You basically only told me. It wasn't till the audience.
Yeah.
I know. You guys got to tell us faster, like within seconds.
Well, that's probably why people don't.
I have a Post-it note. Turn mics on, and I'm still looking at it, but I got a little of that ADD too. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, thank you, Kaching. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna take that $5 and I'm gonna buy 75 pads and notes, tape them all around here. Turn mic on after commercial.
You know what we need? Once you have that up, you actually can. You can set up certain things where it pops up on your computer. You should sit there and just say with your computer, boom, turn on mic and let it link, right? Anyways, so let's go ahead and move. So do I need to go over Bitcoin again?
No, we'll hit that. You can hit that at the end of the show. Just
Okay.
give the 1 second thing. Just say at the end of the year, I expect BTC to do.
At the end of 2025, I expect to see BTC around probably 250, 300,000.
Remember yesterday, Pedro called Dogecoin at $2.50. Now he's calling BTC at the end of the year.
And this
250,000.
250, 300,000. So it can fluctuate there. We'll see what happens. All right. So let's go ahead here real quick.
Doing the BTC dance.
BTC dance. A. No.
YMCA.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Anyways, all right. So let's go ahead.
The Trump dance.
I love it. Beautiful. Let's focus here. J Crypto. Yo. It is good to have you, my friend. On Rumble, Mr. J Crypto. Love having you, brother.
Yo, J Crypto. Pedro, one of the things you're talking about, the Japanese yen.
Yes.
And they got in trouble a little bit for their.
Yes, they did.
I don't mean by other people, but they were. If you recall, the Japanese economy was on the edge of contracting. So they said, all right, let's bring interest rates down. They essentially had, for a while, technically they had negative interest rates. They would pay you to borrow money and deploy it.
Yep.
What they forgot to do was they forgot to say that money has to be deployed within Japan. And what it allowed the rest of the world to do is to go borrow money essentially for free from Japan. You couldn't just like be an American
Many years,
company, go borrow money from the Japanese government. You had to be part of their, their version of the Federal Reserve. But they'd go to the banks over there and say, hey, you know what? We want a shit ton of free money. The Japanese banks would go to the government. The government would they'd say, here you go, print the money up. And people would take that money, and then they'd spirit it out of the country and invest in South America or invest in Asia or invest in the United States, and earn 5% on their money. Good deal for the people that are doing the borrowing. Bad deal for the Japanese because it costs them money and wealth to print money and devalue their currency and to loan money and take on debt. And when you do that and you invest in your own economy, you have the return on investment, like our guest, Mr. ROI. But when it spirits it out of the country and then they pay it back at 0% interest rates, they didn't get anything out of it. But they can only lend so much. And a large amount was on that carry trade, which so many people around the world are like, this is a great deal. Not for the Japanese citizens. It essentially lowered their standard of living, unfortunately, because the money that their government is able to deploy was used elsewhere. That's not to say they didn't do plenty of things inside Japan. They built more high-speed trains. Japan loves infrastructure. They build that stuff, gets great ROI. But they didn't get the bang for their buck, as they say. They didn't get the zin for their zang, or whatever you want to call it there. Zach says, have to run, ladies and gentlemen, out to work. Thanks for welcoming me. Nice job on the charts, Pedro. Zach, he's got lots of these charts behind him.
How did you
AI
Dream.
Alpha.
Got you. AI Wolf. All right, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Come back, man. Come ask questions. Please. I love people asking questions. Because one, it broadens my view and I can go through and learn more. But also, I just like talking about charts. I think charts are cool. Charts are the bomb diggity. Okay, so the yen. One of the things that we're watching, and I've been paying attention to quite a bit, is what's actually happening with our yield going down and going up, and traders actually trading and almost fighting with the Federal Reserve as well as the Treasury. And it's been really interesting to sit there and see. Obviously, the Federal Reserve and the Treasury also have been fighting this year, and they were issuing more treasuries as they were basically, as you introduce more treasuries, what happens when you bring supply? You see price drop, in essence, right? And there's so much of it that it doesn't really move. So we actually saw a little quantitative easing actually happening as the market was going up during kind of the Biden administration. And it kind of was messing with the Federal Reserve because they were kind of getting, there was this little thing kind of happening. Most people don't even realize it. So as now they're starting to drop the interest rates within our bonds, okay, and everybody knows, everyone's been following, but Powell's made it very clear, we're only going to do 2 more next year when it comes to dropping of rates, because they're still seeing job growth really start to constrict. And I've been saying for the last 3 years or 2 years, since you guys have seen it, since me and Tom doing this, that they've been lying to us about the jobs. Because when we look at the jobs on the debt clock, it doesn't move. Like this is the part that cracks me up. Like I take pictures of it like once a month. And so anyways, I say this because now we're seeing, as Tom would agree, that they're coming out and revising numbers. We're not talking like 10,000 jobs. We're talking like
liar, pants on fire.
Hundreds of thousands of jobs. Okay, like big deal. Like, and there was 1 month. I mean, was it 2 months ago in October when it was literally 0 or 10,000? It was 10,000 jobs when previously we'd had like 100,000 or 50,000. I said they're lying, because it behooves them no longer to sit there and lie about it because, well, the current administration is on its out. So I say this aspect that now, because, and this is all related to potentially what we're going to be seeing. Japan is a major producer of goods and services. And we start to see their job situation affected by the U.S. job market. And when our job market gets affected, we don't buy cars. And one of the biggest importers that we deal with Japan is cars. We're not buying cars. Because we're not buying a lot more cars, we're going to see some big movements actually happening with the S&P 500, which is then going to bleed into crypto. Okay, and that's why I'm telling you guys all this, so we can be paying attention to it. And as we look into the bonds and the price movement of bonds and yields and the inverse relationship to it, it's going to bleed into crypto. And I think what we're going to see is a drop in crypto first and then a ginormous rally, because they're going to need to free up capital with the SWIFT system. The best way to literally give a boost to the economy is get rid of the SWIFT system, which is a 3% tax on cash flow. And when you're dealing with trillions of dollars, 3% is a lot of money.
Yep.
And so when we start to then utilize the blockchain and instant transferring of that cash, we're going to see a proliferation of literally growth in the economy after this starts to happen, which is going to be the dip and then skyrocket in flight. Afternoon delight, right? So good old shout out. So this is why I'm going over this stuff, so you can actually understand what is going to most likely, that I foresee happening. I could be wrong, but that's really what we're going to, I'm very practical in that sense when we're looking at the market. Give me 1 second as I eat this egg.
I was wondering what was going on. Sammy Rose watching on Kick. Thanks for joining us on Kick. Really appreciate it. How's it going? Going well. Market's going up. Market's going down. Market's moving. That means traders making money.
And my friend is making money too, which I'm really happy about. Mr. Herlihy here. Okay.
Not today. So, got stopped out today. They wicked right into my stop.
That's okay. Remember, anyways, we'll talk about that later. So you can see here that we're putting a little higher high or a little lower lows, lower highs. When we see the yen go down, we see potentially the ability for money to inflow into it. right? As the yen moves, because that means they're going to most likely raise potentially. As we start to see this happen, people will want to start doing more business here, and this could throw out the rest of the world, because there's still a lot of people in the midst of this carry trade, and so as they start to deleverage it, and so it's going to bring rumbles throughout the world, and this is what I'm expecting. All right, now, in additionally to that, let's go ahead and look at some of the yields. So we've talked about the yields as we've come and hit our areas here. We talked about this general area, right? When the 1 month yield, where you could, chill and yield is what they called it, right? Or yield and chill. That's what a yield and chill, where for almost 2 years, people were putting money into the 1 month yield and literally getting 4.5% APY. And so they could chill out, wait. And then as we started to come into our area here, we saw a little bit of a pump up a little, but we sold through our area. But we at the end of our area here, which was the 4.7, so a bit of a bounce, then come back down. So right now we're kind of hanging out at that 4.39 area, or 3.8 area, and chilling in between the 4.30. After this mark, if we cut through, the next real mark on that 1 month is really going to be the 3%. And you're just like, well, what's the point of that, bro? Well, there's a lot of money here, a lot of money. And so Warren Buffett's in this. A lot of people are kind of waiting, because we're all kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen in the market. And so there's so much money in treasuries, in particular 1 month, because these are so liquid that you can get in, get out on those yields. So it's a quick little money thing, and then all of a sudden you can get out and deploy that cash. If we see a big sell-off in the economy, and people are like, what are you talking about? Well, I mean, Warren Buffett is holding on to literally, was it $300 billion? Was it 320 billion? It's got to be more now, but he's bringing
a lot of cash,
a lot of money, just chilling with money. He recently just bought some stuff, but he's still holding on to cash. So right now I'm expecting us to come down, and as he's no longer making money in here, he'll start to deploy his cash into the market, waiting, or just hold on to cash completely, where he's literally, because we're all dealing with interest, or we're all dealing with inflation. So as inflation keeps going up, he's actually losing money if this starts to go down even more. So let's go ahead and pull through here. Where do we expect our 1 month typically to go? I think we'll probably see it settle around the 3.22 area, and I'll draw that in here into this. Actually, I'll just draw it now. Boom. Next one right here.
Pitmonk in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us all the way from England. Thank you very much. Hope all is going. Actually, I believe Pitmonk is joining us from Scotland right now. I think he went north to take care of a relative.
Scotland.
Have a happy New Year, and hope everyone in your family is doing better than you communicated to me before.
Yeah, man.
J Crypto says we're going to see a huge wave of dollars coming into crypto in first quarter 2025. I believe you to be correct on that.
Yes. So let's go ahead and see now with the yield. So I'm going to pull out the 2-year yield here. Where's my 1-year yield? Anyways, the 1-year yield, you can see now that we've actually had the inverse market relationship, and for whatever reason, my brain is not remembering what it's actually called, but that inverse relationship is now starting to where yields and bonds short-term yields have been higher than long-term yields, which is inverse. It should not be happening. And so now we're seeing short-term yield go down, right? And we're starting to see long-term yield go up, but also more or less kind of just hold. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing it kind of hold. And so if something's going down and something's holding, then you kind of have where it just kind of does this. And so you can sit there and see, as we start to look at our 30-year, our 30 yield has kind of been going sideways between that 5% to the 3.9% over the last.
Welcome, Jerry Molinari, to the show. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching, Jerry.
And additionally to that, we've talked about playing off of this zone here, and we've been bouncing literally off of this weekly trend line. And this is that daily A that I brought up. I said this is what we could see as we start to see it move. That's exactly what we're seeing here with our 30-year bonds, or 30-year yield bonds, 30 bond yields. Wow, my brain is really having fun today. Okay, so with that, we can sit there, see what's actually happening, and we're taking advantage of that. And I'm really happy about as we and we drew this back here when this was back in October when we drew this. So you can see how it's been playing off of this and now pushing up. And this is a good sign that people are regaining confidence in America and its institution, basically producing stuff, right? Trump has already talked about he's going to be raising tariffs, and that will bring more demand domestically into America as domestic need. Excuse me, as we need things here, instead of buying it overseas, we're going to buy it here because it's going to cost more money to buy something overseas made in Taiwan versus, let's say, here in America, where you have a local producer. And I can sit there and say, well, I'm going to go there unless they play nice with us. So that's another interesting thing we're going to see with Trump as tariffs start to really move. You're already seeing Putin and as well as our good old knucklehead guy over there. And I'm not going to say his name, but he's kind of below that country that's fighting with the other country because of NOT.
All right, just move on.
So all of that. So that's what we're seeing here. So this is, again, this is Technical Tuesday. This is what we talk about, and I try to do this stuff so that you guys can see this. This is a very meta view today, so we can gauge where we're going to see the market move. Now, this play here on the 30-year bond, we talked about this, and we could get in on this when it comes and retest this trend line. And so I hope some of us got into it. I should have talked about it more as we were playing here, but you can see here it really played nicely as we're moving up. The other part behind here is, now let's check out the bonds. All right, so you can see here we're watching our 30-year bond, or 30-year bond yield go up as we're watching the 30-year bond itself go down. It came down into our area here that we talked about a while back ago, and it's playing off it nicely. Now, I always say this here, we got to wait to see volume, and I think this is going to be really interesting as the inverse happens, right? It all depends on what Trump is going to do. And from a global standpoint, as the market starts to progress and as we start to really see what happens with Trump and his initiatives, if it starts to play out well, we see America really start to get in and get things up and running again, we should see in this next coming year, this go up. Okay, this is our bonds. We will see this go up. We will see, most likely see yields go down, or at least stay stagnant, go down a little, right? As we start to play here, we already know that Powell wants to drop rates here in the 2 times in this next year. So what that's going to look like, we will find out. This is also in relationship to if we see inflation go up, okay? If we see inflation go up, but also production go up, this is a good situation. And you're like, wait, nobody likes inflation. If you're making more money and you have more options for more jobs, then what happens, that is good for you, right? Because now you're seeing a cost of living go up with more production and more inflation. That means your dollars are worth more dollars. And when you go out into the rest of the world, you can go out and spend more. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but this is all kind of in the play that's actually happening coming up into this next year to 2 years. And so this is why I want to bring up a lot of these situations. Now, as we start to see that, you can't forget the Dixie. The Dixie here, we talked about us over the last year, how we came up last year around this time. I said we should see a sell-off from this area here, right? And I said, guys, this is when people started hemorrhaging, right, in the market. Excuse me, I'm not there. Boom. Here we go. Last year, the market was rising up, and I said we should see a sell off from here, come down, and then we'll find out what happens, right? But now you can see we boosted back up, and as we came into the Dixie here, I said, guys, this is showing weakness here, and I expect us to see us find support on the 8 and push up. This was back in December here. Early part, actually this was in November when we really started talking about this. I said we're showing strength as we're moving up and weakness in the fact that I don't see a lot of demand, I don't see a lot of supply wicks, so we should push through this area as the dollar keeps getting stronger. Okay, and we have a couple areas that we can see sell-offs. It's going to be the 110 area and the 109. I think we're going to blow through the 109 area on the dollar and capture the 110 area, and most likely see it reverse down to the 8. Now, this is important. If Trump, and it's going to be really important, if he wants to see industry buy our goods and services around the world, exports, he's got to figure out a way to drop this. Right, he has to drop the dollar and this aspect, because if he doesn't drop the dollar, it affects a lot of what he wants to see with businesses coming here and buying our goods and services. It's going to be really interesting, this whole entire play. But I'm expecting he's going to have to give this. It's going to be the reason I bring this up. There's going to be a lot of plays in the actual fiat currency, right? And you're going to be able to sit there and play this while funneling money into the stock market, right? I personally like the futures for the CME futures because it's much more liquid in incrementally, where there's a lot more liquidity in between each price points versus liquidity all the way up here and liquidity down here, and then you just get screwed when you play the middle, right? I know that the currency is the most liquid currency or liquid market in the world, but only at certain junctions, right? It's not as liquid in the in-between. So that's why I like currency futures, because it's easier to play. All right, so this is my play is here is we should see some resistance coming in at these levels here as the market starts to keep going up. And I think what I honestly think is I think China is legitly buying the US dollar, because if they can get the dollar to keep going up, it stops Trump's initiative that he's trying to get the rest of the world to come back. And it makes literally the case for BRICS to sit there and say, look at the hegemon that they have over us. We can come together and overthrow America, and hence giving them more power for BRICS. But on the back end, if Trump can get more prosperity happening throughout the rest of the world, as America is willing to buy, and there's a final equalizing of the rest of the world with what he wants, we should then see people jump in and parlay, or what's the word I want to use? They peg their dollar to us, and as we go up, they go up. So it'll be one of those things as we see as we move forward. Okay, so all that to sit there and say, where do you think? Sorry, we've got to go over here. So we've talked about crude oil here. It came down that we talked about right here, and now we're seeing it kind of push up here. It all depends. This depends what's actually happening from a fundamental standpoint, but on a technical standpoint, we just pushed through the 100-day period moving average. That in itself, right, indicates that as I look at the higher time frame, I'm still very bearish on crude oil. And so I think this area right here, as we come into this area, we should see a bit of a pullback into these levels here. So this right here we go, boom. Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. So this area, the 74 to the 78 area here, there should be some major resistance coming in. In particular, once we come to the monthly 8, that monthly 8 here is sitting around the 73.40 area, 50 area as we pull up. And this is going to be an interesting situation, because this, again, as Trump wants to start to drill much more in America, he's got to keep this up enough to where it makes it profitable for the American oil drillers to keep profitable, but also low enough that he keeps it suppressed for Russia, because their primary export is crude oil. And if they keep sitting there and trading in the petro yuan, it's going to mess with certain aspects. Half the world wants to trade in US dollars because, well, they don't really want to slap high five with Putin and China. But then at the same time, if I'm going to sit there and I look at from a actual economic standpoint in my people, I need to have something that's going to be economic feasible for my people. So it all depends what he does here, right? This is an important part that he's trying to really play here. So I'm expecting us to see us range between that 74 and potentially that 60. I thought my price point, I thought before he got into office, I literally thought we were going to come down into the 50s and 40s where we're going to see just a drop. But we're finding support at this 50, the 89 and 100 day period moving average. So I'm expecting us to kind of range between here, maybe for the next 4 years, as we start to see the market really pick up. And as inflation goes up, but also what's the word I want to use? Job stimulation that's actually happening correctly. You know what I'm saying? Versus government intervention, but actually from an economic, like fundamental standpoint, that we're actually seeing real production through AI, through a lot of the other situations that we have coming up. We won't go into that. So this is what I'm expecting to see us for this coming up year to 2 years, right? This little range. I'm actually going to draw this range right up in here, and we'll see what's up. Come on. And we'll make that a yellow. Yellow. Ah, shoot, I forgot. Okay, boom. Border. All right, so I do expect to see a kind of range between these areas. We'll find out as we keep moving forward. All right, let's check out gold, which is going to be the last one, and then we're going to move into crypto in the top 10 here real quick. All right, so this area that we're watching gold, we should see a gold sell-off. If Bitcoin's going to become really the store of value and people want to use it in addition to a trading value, we've got to see gold sell off, right? And so this is one of those things that, are we going to see it? Which one is going to hold dominance? What's actually going to happen from a trading standpoint? I see us showing actually strength to the downside on the monthly standpoint here. And there are levels here that have not been tested that need to be tested. One being the 8, right, which is going to be at the 25.45 area. Second is going to be that 24.75 and potentially the 23.69 area. And if we're lucky, 22.13, right? These are these areas that we can see it come down to and kind of consolidate as we start to move forward. Bitcoin and its dominance in the world will have to sit there and explode up. People make a ton of money and kind of see a sell-off into the bear market. So this is going to be one of those things. I see this going down, it going up and diverging and then coming back together. So that's one of those things I'm expecting to sit there and see. Let's go ahead and pull now into our good old friend, Mr. Michael Saylor. If Michael Saylor, oh, dude, look at this.
I told you last week, I said this would be a great time to buy some puts on Robinhood. On MicroStrategy would have made absolute goddamn fortune.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, we did. Well, we expected.
Unfortunately, they're really expensive because the price is high. So even one option, is hundreds of dollars. It's a lot. I mean, thousands of dollars, not one, hundreds.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Or you could just basically play off of this. Now, we talked about how Saylor was kind of topping off on the market, and he took out loans at the top of the market. If they could crush his company, okay, and literally cause it to bleed out, he loses money. He's now got to go through. Now, I think it's 4 years is the length of the loan.
I'm sure he has all different types of
Yeah.
All different types of things.
But if this thing holds, I don't think it's going to go belly yet because he has so much Bitcoin. It all depends. But as we start to come down into macro strategies this year, I'm looking for a few points here, and I don't think it's going to rally. I hope I'm wrong because I want to see Saylor do really well, but I don't think the banks are going to let him because he's kind of, from a fundamental analysis, kind of just hurt himself, and so I think they're going to push his thing down until he starts to sell off his Bitcoin, and then the institutions are going to be buying it. And I've seen many years throughout my 20 years of market trading that I've literally seen them do this to major traders like Saylor, right? Billionaire traders that they just will crush to get what they want. So I think that potentially what they might do. Now, if I'm wrong, this is going to most likely be the area where I'm wrong, where we're going to see a bounce. So we came into a gap area and we're watching this now starting to consolidate. So let's look at this area here as we're coming down. This was the first point we talked about potentially buying micro strategies, right? I said, don't buy up in here at these lower levels. Wait for it to come down here, right? I said, unless we get above that 8 period moving average, don't get into it. And so the 50 period moving average here did a crossover. And so you can see here last week, and we were talking about this, was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, where I said, you want to wait potentially first to this area. My area here that I'm looking to pick up strategies is potentially probably the 200, 205 to 185 area, right? And then potentially if it gets back down to here, the 143 area, right? That's the area that I'm kind of hoping for, so I can get in at it and then potentially buy up and have fun with it, right? You can, once you start to buy up at a low pace here, and I love, if he doesn't sell off his Bitcoin and he holds on to it, okay, as we are coming down into these lower levels, it is going to become much more attractive to fundamental traders. They'll sit there and be like, dude, that's a solid deal. The actual stock itself is worth more money than the value that it's sitting at. And I could even see Buffett coming and going, right, and wanting to buy in on it. So we would see what happens there. But these are the areas that I'm looking at. Hard stop at, okay. I wish you would have let me know. Okay, now let's check out Ethereum. Where do I expect Ethereum to be at and what I'm looking at here? So let's look at the yearly chart here, and we're going to just start jumping here. Okay, I want to give us all that so we understand the fundamental, or how I want to call it the TEA fundamentals, what I'm looking at.
Hey, Pedro, hold on a sec. Because we have a limited amount of time in the show, we had advertised, not advertised, but said we'd go over a bunch of these cryptos. Let's not do that in the short period of time at the end of the show. Let's take our time tomorrow to do that.
Well,
and go over them.
It's really going to be easy. I had to set it up so that we can go in and expect. If we don't set it up right, then it's like you read a book and then 2/3 of it is setting it up, and then we get to the last chapter and it's like, dang, right?
No, I was just telling you, don't rush through things just because there's a few minutes. We can always pick it back up tomorrow, right where we left off today.
Okay, all right. So I'll just say, this is where I expect XRP to go. So here is, boom.
Wait, Ethereum or XRP?
Well, I went to do XRP because I know that there's a lot of people. Well, we can do Ethereum. We'll first start off Ethereum. You're right.
No, you started with it. You said let's move to Ethereum.
Yeah, I know.
So I put the Ethereum graphic.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, it was my
confused yet, viewers? Stay tuned in tomorrow. We'll straighten your head out.
Oh yeah.
While Pedro's doing that, a quick note, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we're off for New Year's Day. Thursday we'll be back on. Pedro, are you interested in the Thursday night Space Lounge?
What's that? Yeah, I'm down. What do you want to do? 30. Who's asking?
I was asking you if I have time to do a Space Lounge on Thursday night. We'll try and get Carmen, maybe another guest.
Thursday Space Lounge. Wednesday. Yes, I'm down. I can do that. Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the show will be dark tomorrow. Let everyone recover from their staying up New Year's Eve. And get a few things done with the last day off before everyone gets back to work. until Martin Luther King Day in only 10 days. And Pedro and I will have a show for you on Thursday in a space lounge. We'll try to come up with some cool topics for the space lounge, rather than just the same things. Pedro can always get some good news things and always has lots to talk about. So it's a good time for that. If we can get Carmen to come on, then that will also be a good time too, because she brings another perspective to things too.
So let's go ahead here real quick. I'm going to use the previous year because what actually happened with the lawsuit that happened with the SEC kind of messed things up here. So I want to create something here that is potentially, I think this is kind of what I expect to see here with XRP. So the peak here, this previous bull market, and I'm doing something a little bit different because from an actual stamp, not XRP, excuse me, with Ethereum. I don't understand why.
Wait, did you?
I'm sorry. I did my brain, bro. Today is like being funny, dude. I'm like,
I have got the consistently wrong graphics up.
It is not you. It is me. It is absolutely me. Okay. I'm going to point this out. I could see people were talking about a 10,000 Ethereum. Honestly, we could see a 13,000 Ethereum. In reality, I think we could see a 13,000 Ethereum simply because I think the institutions are going to figure out a way to really make money with it. And I think there's a lot of money into Ethereum. We all know that Jim Cramer owns Ethereum and he's got a lot of friends. And so he's made a lot of money, but anybody who makes a lot of money always wants to make a lot more. So I think there is this movement. So a 13 to 15,000 Ethereum is something that I'm calling into the next bull run. Okay, so get ready. From us sitting at the 3,000 right now, I think we could see it get up to the 13 to 15,000, which would make Bankless very happy. Because those guys are
true.
Always.
Well, welcome to the show, Brando Commando. Thanks for joining us for a second day in a row. Really appreciate it.
You, brother.
You joined us a little late, right before the show's getting to go dark. We'll be on the air again on Thursday.
Yeah, so and then you know what? Maybe we'll do Thursday night. So let them know about Thursday night. Boom. Okay. So here we go. So Ethereum being 13,000, I think is a good price tag. We'll probably see a sell off at that 10,000, pull back potentially to the 8,000, 7,000 area, and then see it repack and go up to that 13,000. Let's check out BNB. BNB is pumping like it's hot. I honestly, if this thing keeps doing what it does, okay, I expect to see. Come on, buddy. Here we go. Boom. Actually, we'll just do that right there. Border green. We'll do that right there. Boom. All right. So a good old BNB. I'm just gonna double it up. Boom. Right here. And I think we can very much see a BNB sitting ranging about an 18,000. Okay. And you're like, these are crazy numbers. But when you think about the top 10 in the stock market and how they are, a lot of them range between $1 trillion to $5 trillion. I expect to see the US, excuse me, not the US, the top part of our crypto industry get to trillions of dollars market cap, because when you look at it, that everything will sooner or later start to transition. We talked about the SWIFT system kind of going away and blockchain analysis, in addition to the blockchain transferring through it. I think we'll see people want to trade with this type of movement here. So this is where I'm expecting to see us move. So to see a 1800 BNB is something that I would expect over the next bull run, and then again see it pull back and then play at the top what we normally see of $700, $800. People will cry, they'll say we need to stop, I bought up at the very high, but they'll be able to put their money into liquid staking and just make money off of it. They'll be like, dude, I'm actually making a lot of money off of liquid staking. I don't mind paying these taxes, right? So I think that we do see that. Let's check out XRP now. XRP is popping like it's hot. We saw a nice little pullback here. We didn't get to see it get to the top, which saddens my heart. I thought we were going to go and see the 330 area to the 310 area, but we did not. So, but with the mobile, it's still pulling back to a nice little area here. I've talked about waiting for it to come back down. Hopefully, dude, I would love it if in the last at the end of January we see it pull back into the $1.40 area, and then people could get up on that. But we've got a few areas here. We got the 196 to the 185. Now the key is, like I've talked about, we've got to see it get above the 8 as we start to move. Right, and this is how you're going to sit there and go, okay, it's starting here because we see it get above the 8 with volume as it comes up and then comes back, finds support on the 8 and goes up. So where could we potentially see XRP going into the bull run here? Well, let's check it out. So I'm going to do this here because it's going to be a little bit different here.
Mike, that was pretty good. That was good. I get it. Mike had a joke. Do you know a fun fact that when Chuck wants popcorn, he just breathes on Nebraska? Chuck is the fire chicken in Oklahoma. So he just launches the fire across the border.
I like it. That's funny.
That's a pretty good shill, you guys. That was good. That was good. I like that. It was a good coordinated soft shill. Got me to talk about it.
Let's go. All right. So let's check out. So potentially we could see a XRP sitting around $9. Okay. So it could go higher, but I think sitting around at the end of this bull run, seeing an XRP at $9, $8 is something that we're around this level. We should see a pullback and then probably come back and sit above that $3 or around the $6 area. So it depends on how hard it pulls back, but it's one of those things that I know it's most likely going to do. And so as it comes up into this area, either take your profits or wherever you want to do and buy in at a level that you think would be smart. Of course, I'm going to be here, so God willing, and hopefully about 50 pounds lighter. Ooh, yeah. Okay, boom. Let's check out these guys. These guys honestly have already started this bull run, bro. Like these guys
what's these guys?
TRX has been just pumping like it's hot, dude. They, after the Justin Sun banana incident, and then him reaching out to Trump and giving money into him, he definitely got a lot of play off of that. So it was one of those things. Now, when we saw the big pump here, I said, wait, don't be buying up here at these high levels. We want to see, I pointed out we could potentially buy at the 8-period moving average, but I talked about, I really like this area of liquidity. There are buyers sitting here. We should expect to see this come back down. Now, we saw it come back down here, down to that 22-cent area, okay? I think we potentially in January could see it come back down to this lower level here of that 22-cent to the 20-cent. If I'm wrong, the way we know I'm going to be wrong is that it blows through these seller wicks sitting up here, right? We're going to sit there and say, hey, there's seller wicks here. I expect to see this blow through, come back down, and find support on the 8 and 20 as it crosses. Okay, and so from there, that's how
that was good, Mike.
Continue up. Where is it going to go?
I'll give you that.
I think this is what we could see. This is nuts, but I think we could see this. I think it's already started it. So I'm going to actually take where it's sitting right now, and most likely sit there and say, all right, look, this thing, and this is kind of crazy, and I don't know what's their market cap. 21 billion.
21 billion.
So we're talking 40. We could see a $60 billion Tron here by the end of this bull market, which would be sitting around craziness. Dude, like exactly. But if it, in the same sense, we've seen this crypto chart many a times, right? When it just dwarfs and then comes back down and sits. So $1.12 area, I like it. I like it a lot. We were buying Tron when it was down at these lower levels here. at that, what was it? It was like 12 cents, 10 cents, playing it back that night, that 10-cent area. I loved a lot. We came back, hit that a bunch of times. I was expecting us to pull back down to that 8 cents, but it came back down. So if we can see, oh, this one here also, I remember the 7-cent area here was a nice little area that a lot of our viewers were buying at, also down here at these levels. At the end of, no, I wasn't with you at 22, right? November 22, I wasn't with you. 20.
Yeah, but occasionally.
Okay, yeah. So boom, like we talked about these areas here, but boom, you can see that these levels here have been holding strong. So I think this final pullback potentially into that 21, 22 cent area and 17 cent maybe. But from then on, it's just, here we go. $1.11 potentially as it moves higher. So yeah, you have a hard stop on
Yeah, I set the timer.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I see it. All right, let's check out Doge. Oh, we've talked about Doge here multiple times, but we'll just finish it. I can sit there and say, I expect to see a Doge potentially sitting at, come on, buddy. These are the
46 billion for Doge.
I think
Pedro's saying it's going to be a $300 billion coin here in a year.
I think, and just simply because everything, once he really starts to get things going, I think what he's doing with Tesla, as well as with Grok, and how he's really trying to do a lot of stuff here. I think probably within the next, 2 to 5 years. And this sounds crazy, but what we're seeing with AGI pretty much here, right? It's lying. AGI is lying in front of us. It is doing deceitful things, and people are like, or this AI that we call it just a simple AI, it's lying to us. So I think close to ASI. Once ASI really starts to get going, okay, I think it's going to say we need to get on another planet. And Mr. Musk is definitely doing this. So I think it's going to work hand in hand. And I think for the actual system, I think they'll use from a monetary system, Doge. I know this sounds so nuts. I get it. I sound crazy. Okay? I know that I do. But I think that's what we're seeing. So I think we could see it around $2.80, potentially $3 for a Doge. And it sounds crazy, but we're talking 80,000 was at its peak. So we could pop up around $250 billion market cap for Doge. Again, these are my predictions into the next year, and we'll see what happens.
Kaching says he keeps getting shielded from a project. From a well-known dev that will be doxxed after launch. Any reason for high caution there? Yes, 100% caution. Someone's telling you, oh, it's a famous dev. He won't reveal himself after launch. I'll put a 78.2% chance that there's a rug pull 1 second before the dox happens. And I have watched that happen with my own eyes live. Okay, all right, here I come, and then all of a sudden the chart goes.
Bro,
seen it happen, ladies and gentlemen.
How many times, man? It is amazing. I think also seeing I think DeFi needs to come together and we need to figure out a way to go after people like that. And then just stringing them up. Not stringing up like literally, but stringing them up as in like figuratively, where we actually bring them before, law enforcing people, right? We'll sit there and bring real judgment there. So,
well, thank you to all you Rumblers for watching Seduli number 2. Thank you very much. I'm more who Seduli number 1 is.
Seduli, what's up, guys?
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone, on Rumble. Had a good crowd on Rumble, even though Rumble did not put us on the crypto category page today. I don't know why. I checked our settings. We are listed as a crypto show, but it did not put it up on there today. And we would have been the number 1 show, but didn't put us on there. I don't know why. And the things aren't changing either, so I've got something behind the scenes going on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a happy New Year's Eve here. Mrs. and I are going to go out with friends and have a good time. Not too late. Hopefully, we'll be able to go to bed at 12:02. Hopefully, we'll be able to get an Uber to get home in a reasonable amount of time for a reasonable amount of money. But for everyone else out there, I hope you guys have a good New Year. It's been a great year here in DYOR with Senor Pedro here, and with all you viewers here. We picked up a whole new crew over on Rumble.
Yeah, we did. Good to have you.
And a whole bunch of new viewers also on YouTube.
Yeah, dude. A ton of new guys, dude. Definitely. And you guys are looking fly. Oh, yeah.
All right, well, I got to go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you Thursday at the usual time, and then Thursday night for Space Lounge. Anyway, on behalf of Pedro, Garcia, and I thank you for a great 2024. We'll see you in 2025, so be there.
Jesus.